Hello, my loves. Welcome to a new episode of Publisher's Brunch with Karis. I am your host, the titular Karis, and I am an author and podcast host who lives in Brooklyn. I am an author of an upcoming young adult sapphic romance debut called Nat and Cammy's Guide to Running an Undercover GSA, which you can pre-order now if you feel so led to support me in this way. It is an indie publishing venture, and I'm super excited. I got some really cool news about it recently that I can't be sharing yet, but someday you will know. And like I said, I'm a podcast host. I host this podcast as well as The Right Way of Life, which is a author interview craft focused podcast that's on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but we'll be back sooner than you know it. And I'm here to introduce this week's episode with the incredible Lavanya Lakshmi. I had an amazing time chatting with Lavanya a couple days ago. But before we dive into that, let's just check in. How are we doing? As many of you know, especially if you know me personally and I've been in your DMs or text messages over the past months, I've been having a bit of a... I've been having a bit of a depression. And it's gotten really bad, and it got to the point where I decided to return to some ketamine therapy treatments, which, if you don't know, last summer I ran a GoFundMe to raise the money for the first 6 treatments of IV ketamine infusions. They were revolutionary, and they changed my life for several months. I just was feeling so much better. And then, of course, as time passed and I wasn't able to go back, and then the seasons changed. The darkness descended upon us at 4:30 every afternoon. I wasn't leaving the house. I was stressed and just not well, and my depression resurfaced with a vengeance. So this past Monday, I actually went and I did a new infusion, and it was lovely, honestly. Not just the infusion, but I really love the people at the center where I go. They're so friendly and caring, and it just makes me feel so beloved. And it means a lot to me to have them there, and to have them treat me like that. You know, like, they don't know me, they don't owe me anything. They're lovely. And I've been getting out more lately. I have been going to a coffee shop and a bar quite regularly where I hang out, spend way too much money, but such is the price for happiness. It's also, spring has sprung, as the youths don't say. I think it's the old folks who say that, not to be ageist. But I just said it, so, what are we doing here? Anyway, spring has sprung, and the light is extending its way out into the evenings, and it's warmer. You can sit outside, you can walk outside. It's just delicious. So things are looking up in my mind. I've been getting a lot of, the Instagram and TikTok witches lately being like, Taurus, things are changing for you, and it's been doing that for 2 years, and I'm like, bitch, things better change soon. But I'm hopeful, and I've decided to start living in that hope and manifesting that hope, and just sort of trying to change my inner monologue from negativity to positivity, and we'll see if that does anything. It might at the very least improve my mood some, so that'd be great. The world. I really appreciated my conversation with Lavanya in this episode, which you will hear soon, because we got to chat a little bit about how frustrating it is to live during this time, and to feel like there's nothing we can do to make the world a better place, or to stop the atrocities that are being done so often in our names, especially those of us in the U.S., where our tax dollars and our government is just doing genocides and wars that are horrifying and awful and criminal, and all war is criminal. And we talked a lot about community and what a boon that is, and how individual action feels so small, but it's really important because it adds up, right? If everyone in a community donates $1 to something, and there's 50 people in the community, that's $50, and that's, something that wasn't there before. And that's a really small example, but I think it's really good. I completely forgot to come up with a call to action this week, so I'm going to do it on the fly. And I think for this week, the call to action is just find a way to love on someone in your community, whether that's sending a text message or some flowers or buying someone a drink, paying it forward at the coffee shop, smiling at someone when you pass them in the street and they look like they're having a bad day. If you're someone who passes people on the street, like, just find some way to show love. And I think that you'll get some love back because life's a boomerang. I just came up with that. Can you tell? Yeah, I made that up all on my own. Romance books that I've been reading lately. This little book you might have not heard of. It's called Heated Rivalry. Yeah, no, I did a reread because I'm obsessed. I also did a reading where on this past Thursday where I read an essay that I had written about Heated Rivalry. So I'm, staying true to myself and true to my brand, which is just fangirl. So I reread the book and it moved me just as much as it did the first time. Honestly, when I got to the end, I was a sobbing mess. I love these queer hockey men. I love the world. I love the conversation that the whole Game Changer series is having about homophobia, specifically in sports and even more specifically in men's hockey. And I think it's really important to have these conversations, and I really hope that the culture can and will change sooner rather than later. A romance novel that I just started is by my good friend and previous Publishers Brunch guest, Leslie Renee. I have a Night Galley widget, and so I got to start reading Maggie and Arthur's Magic Moment, and you guys, the book sparkles, right? Like, it's so alive, and I feel like I'm just being sucked into this world, and I am Maggie, and I feel like Maggie, and I get her, and it's just like so dusted with fairy dust. Like, it's just beautiful, and I love it, and I'm so delighted to be reading it. I really think if you pre-order it and you support Leslie, you will absolutely not regret it, because it's such a good book, and Leslie is genuinely one of the best people in the world. So amazing. So listen to the podcast episode with her, pre-order her book, and follow her on Instagram. Speaking of guests, I have a guest bio to read, so let's get it started. Lavanya, oh my god, I messed that up. Lavanya was born in New Delhi, India, and grew up in Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong before coming to the U.S. for her undergrad and master's degrees. She lived in New York for 9 years before moving to Toronto, which she currently calls home. Lavanya has worked in the publishing industry for 13 years and is on the board of directors for the Festival of Literary Diversity. Her debut novel, Leave and Come Back, will be published in June 2026 by Pamela Dorman Books in the U.S. and Doubleday Books in Canada. Prior to this, she has written for such prestigious spaces as the 15 half-used notebooks in her desk drawer, over 100 separate notes on her iPhone, and, briefly when she was 4, on the walls of her house. Please welcome Lavanya to Publishers Brunch. And hello, I am here with our amazing guest for this week, Lavanya Lakshmi. Lavanya, would you mind introducing yourself and your book to our listeners?
Yeah, hi. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Lavanya Lakshmi. I am a debut author whose first novel, Leave and Come Back, comes out on June 16th. I have worked in book publishing for a really long time, for about 13 years, before I decided to become a writer. And I currently live in Toronto. My book, Leave and Come Back, hold on. This is a galley. Is
so
about,
beautiful.
I know, the cover, I feel like I carry it around just to, like, not even for the book inside. I'm just like, look at the cover, though. Like, someone else made this. It's so pretty.
I feel that.
I know. It's about a young woman named Simran who is estranged from her family. And in the beginning of the novel, she goes back to her childhood home for the first time in 7 years for her cousin's wedding. But her brand new boyfriend tags along, sort of follows her unintentionally, and he immediately gets on the wrong side of the family matriarch. I know. So the cousins and Simran come up with this plot, which they can only call like a scheme, based on their favorite Bollywood movie, which is also my favorite Bollywood movie, a movie called DDLJ, in which Simran and Leo will pretend to be strangers, so Leo can be like the most charming, most helpful guest ever and win over the family, and then they can be like, "We're together now. You like him, isn't that great?" But of course, hijinks ensue,
Of
as
course.
do, of course, hijinks ensue so much. Hijinks are so prevalent in the world. Um, and then, but also there is like a deeper sort of emotional revelation that happens, the reasons that she's estranged, the effect of the estrangement on the family and her returning, and sort of all, and there's some secrets. Everybody's kind of got their own, everybody, I like to say everybody's a main character of another story in this book, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like an ensemble, and then they're dipping into this story and bringing all their baggage along, so it's kind of, I think that's just fun, and also how families work. um
So real.
like
Yeah.
everyone's coming in with their own like
Mm-hmm.
5 cents or whatever. And so it's sort of all of this stuff happening, plus their sort of blossoming early romance in the middle of this 2 week long multiple event 400-person wedding, Indian
It
wedding.
just
So there's like,
sounds
yeah.
so deliciously full of drama and like it just sounds like rich with like potential for hijinks and shenanigans of all sorts, and I'm super excited.
Yes, I love hijink shenanigans, tomfoolery, what have you.
Oh
So
yes, a little tomfoolery
like,
goes a long way.
yeah, and there's a good amount of this, which I like. I have always had a very jovial family, so even obviously there's like family drama that happens, but it's always sort of couched in a sense of like humor or hijinks. So I think that that's what really influenced this.
Yeah, my family growing up, they did a lot of practical jokes. But
Oh,
I was a different person growing up. Obviously, we all were, but I was like very shy and like super just timid and like easily embarrassed. And I was the only girl in the family, so the boys would like play these jokes or
mm,
they'd say me like they'd come up with mean nicknames and I would just like cry about it. And then they would have
I
to
don't
stop
like
calling
that.
people by weird like synonyms for butts, which they did one time in fourth grade. They were like, everyone got a butt nickname, and I was like, first of all, ew. Secondly, don't you dare call me by my butt. So, family.
I have to say, like, I understand why that was probably traumatic for you then. I think it's kind
It
of
was funny.
hilarious now.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
They had
So
some
you were
really
like,
good comebacks.
yeah, yeah. I'm always super interested in like dynamics, like what birth order you're in, or if you're the only girl, only boy, youngest girl, you like things like that. Because I feel like there's this quote by I want to say like Gabor Mate, who's like, no, every child is an only child because they're the only ones having that experience, depending on like when you were born and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I
yeah.
yeah, family is family, and I love found family in books, but I also love when like biological family shows up and they're like, "Listen, we're here to fuck shit up. Let's go."
It's what they do best.
It sure is. All right, let's break the ice as though we haven't already broken the ice in our conversation. But I have a couple fun icebreaker questions. The first one is, if you could choose a song or like a motif, some kind of musical
Ooh.
descriptor of like your mood right now, do you have something that would work for that? And mine is just, it's always Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. Just perennially.
That's so good. That's so good because like that song both like musically is so like it's so dynamic. It has such high highs and then it like gets quiet and loud. But also like the message is so lovely and it's
Yeah.
so like the
I
words are
want
so
to
meaningful.
be in West Hollywood at the Pink Pony Club,
Yeah.
just
West
always, so.
Hollywood. Yes, that's so good. Um Now I feel like I want to choose a Chappell Roan song just because
You
she's so
totally
great.
could.
No, honestly, I've been having some like winter depression, like
Mm,
seasonal depression. And this is gonna sound slightly unhinged, but I think that's the point. I have been giving myself these like I've been listening to Free by Florence and the Machine, if you've heard of
okay.
it. It's the one when like when I'm dancing I'm free.
Yeah.
And I just like dance around my room unhingedly for like the 3.5 minutes that it happens, and like I sing the
Hmm.
song at the top of my lungs, my poor neighbors. um but yeah,
You'll survive.
I think it's, there's this line when she said like, I'm gonna paraphrase it, but basically she's like, the only thing you can do against the face of like this world that keeps coming at you
Mm,
sometimes is dance and remind yourself you're free. That's like a
mm,
very compressed meaning of the song,
hmm.
but I think that it's helping me, and it's also like nice to get a little like, endorphins in your system. And um it also, I can be like a very self-conscious person, so just like reminding myself that I can dance and not, no one's watching me. I can be as weird and goofy or
Hmm.
repeat a movement for the whole 3.5 minutes. Like there's no stage to perform on. That's also like a kind of nice reminder of the kind of freedom you can give yourself.
That is so true to my life as well. All of it, like the winter depression, the like I would go like my I went to a rave once with my roommate and everyone was like dancing and I was just in the corner against the wall like I can't let anyone see me move. Um Also my back was hurting so I like couldn't dance,
Yeah.
but I was like I'm going to find somewhere to sit and I'm going to be like people's like smoke corner buddy because I can't let them see me dance. But like when I'm home and the music is playing, I can just be like, "Yay, nobody's watching me." And it's
Yeah.
nice.
I went to this gathering last week. It was
Mhm.
so thoughtfully intentioned. It was like held
Mhm.
in a greenhouse. So the idea was like you're around these plants and it's like kind of humid and doesn't feel like
Mhm.
winter in there. And there's so much
Right.
light pouring in because it's a greenhouse. And they went through like, it was just a group of people. They went through some exercises. We did some like goofy little
Mhm.
physical icebreakers. Nothing like too interactive, but very like
Yeah.
collective. And then they end it with just like a 45-minute dance thing, and all the
Wow.
remixes were like songs from the 90s and early aughts, so it was like really
Oh,
vibing.
perfect.
And it's like, yeah, everyone's
Mhm.
invited to like, one of the things is they established I can't remember what, like, not ground rules, but they established
Mhm.
like meetings, and one of the things is like, when I'm here I'm not judged. And so it sort of paves the way for everybody to like dance how they want.
Mm.
And I love it, it felt so, to your point, like I also am somebody who's self-conscious. And so it felt
Mhm.
really powerful to like just not care in front of a bunch
Yeah.
of people not caring. And in that, that's the caring.
That's beautiful. I love that. That sounds like such a cool event. Wow.
So people are so thoughtful. I find the way people build communities to be incredible.
And like so creative sometimes with like the types of events. Like there's a local coffee shop slash bookstore is doing a queer writer critique group speed dating matching event, which is a lot
Ooh.
of words, but like everyone who signs up gets like a prompt and you answer it and then you get paired up in different groups and you read your prompt and like you find new critique partners and stuff. And I was like, that is so just clever and like unique. I wouldn't have come up with that.
Yeah. So clever, so unique, intentional. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I mean, you, as people are about to see, your questions and your like the way you've arranged this idea of brunch and into different spaces, like I was so struck by how inviting and it like easy it was to
Oh,
immediately jump in. So I don't know. Don't count yourself out yet.
good. Okay. I always tell myself I'm not creative, and people will be like, "Don't you write books?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I
Well,
do that, don't I? I guess I do have like imagination, creative. I don't know, whatever. It's
yeah,
they
yeah.
sound like good things, so I couldn't possibly have them, which is something I talked to my
Listen,
therapist about. So,
everybody else who writes books are creative angels,
oh,
except
they're
me.
the best. They're so smart and brilliant, and I'm just a girl. um, So speaking of books, I'd love to know what is one of the first books that you remember, and it doesn't have to be chronologically first book you read, but like the first one that like got to you and really got its claws in
Ooh.
you, and you became like obsessed with it. Like your first almost like fangirl moment with a book.
Oh, okay, okay. My first fangirl moment with a book. That's a great question. I have to say, like, the the body of work of Judy Blume, I think, like, when I look back on my childhood, she wasn't one of the first books I read, but like I think when I read like the Super Fudgemania series, I like liked them so much that she was the first one who like got me reading in a very steady pattern because I just kept on wanting to read all her books. And then she started to write YA and she started to write adult books. And so I felt like through my whole life, like there was always a Judy Blume book for me to read. Um, yeah, and I feel like I feel like that's true for so many people of like a certain age if you read her books. And so she is kind of like, if there is no, what is it? JBEU, no Judy Blume Extended Universe, but like there was one for me. I was always in it somehow. And she wrote this book called Tiger Eyes. That was one of her more like middle grady ones. And I remember there was like a little bit of romance and it was like a sort of misadjusted teenager narrative, which, when you're a tween, you eat up even more than when you're a teen, And so like, I feel like I remember at 8 or 9 being like, I'm also misunderstood.
Nobody gets me.
Yeah, nobody gets me. And mom was like, it's too early for that. You have like 3 more years to go before nobody gets you.
She was like, just put it on hold, please.
Yeah, so I just read books until then.
Oh, I love that. I never really read Judy Blume growing up, and I don't know why. Because I asked my mom about it, and she was like, oh, I don't know who Judy Blume is. And I was like, what? Okay. So I was like, because in my mind, I was like, oh, they probably, like, wouldn't allow us to read Judy Blume because she was controversial, and her books were banned, and my family was very conservative. Well, I watched the Judy Blume documentary a couple years ago, and that was my first, like, real, like, I felt, like, welcomed into the world of Judy Blume, and I was like, I wish I had read her books growing up. She seems so lovely, and there were clips from her in the 80s when they were really trying to ban her books, and she was kind of the face of the, like, anti-censorship movement. And I was like, I grew up, my parents were very religious. Well, they are very religious. They were very conservative. And I just wondered, I was like, I wonder if they had, like, heard through their grapevine, like, oh, Judy Blume writes about, like, sex. We can't let our kids read it. And she was like, no, I don't really know who Judy Blume is. And I was like, are you lying to me? So...
I know, like, great one, mom. That's so surprising because, like, I think because I encountered her so early, like, she has this series about this, like, very, like, annoying little brother called Fudgemania. And so it was, like, this kid who's in 5th grade and his brother's just sort of, like, taking up all the space in their family because gets into, talk about hijinks. Like, that kid
I can relate.
was a walking hijinks, yeah, and, like, a walking hijink. Singular.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it's like I was an only child, but like it's so relatable. And so, I mean, what did they try to ban? Like sibling dynamics? Come on, people.
It was, I want to say Forever is the one where...
Oh, yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. That
was the one where they were like, the gasp.
The gasp. Teenagers kiss.
Yeah, who knew? Not us, not teenagers, that's for sure.
Definitely didn't read that too early for myself. Slightly too early.
I feel like that's a canon event.
Attic. Come on, like that's my.
Yeah.
Anytime someone's like, "Oh, you read that so young," and I'm like, "But it wasn't Flowers in the Attic. I did not read that one young. Thank God."
There is a whole generation, especially romance authors, who are like, "Yeah, no, I read like my first introduction to sex was in a book that I read way too early." Mine, very very fun, was Philippa Gregory. Writing her Tudor mysteries, or not mysteries, but like historical, the like super glam and like sexual and sensual and everything. And I'd read one of them, and I was obsessed with Queen Elizabeth I because she was a redhead, and so I loved her. Like I was very easy as a child.
Yes.
Didn't know about imperialism.
Yeah. Yet.
But yeah, not yet. But so I loved Elizabeth. So I was reading like an excerpt of the Queen Elizabeth book, and it just so happened that it was a sex scene with her and like Robert Dudley or something, and it was explicit. And I was in middle school, like missionary kid, super conservative, was reading the True Love Waits books, like I'm gonna save myself for marriage. And, Elizabeth is the virgin queen, so we're, like, soul sisters, right? And then I read this, and I was like, like I have this like burned in my mind memory of like them describing like her breasts, and I was like, and I like closed out and like deleted my browsing history and ran to my room and like prayed for forgiveness. And it was
Oh,
scarring.
oh, oh, I like,
So much in that story is like, oh, you poor thing.
I know, just the trauma you must have given yourself over it until you were like, actually, this is really formative and normal.
And then I woke up one day when I was in college and I was like, man, I really should have not told the Lord that I would not kiss anyone till I was engaged, because now I think he's holding me to it. I don't believe in the Lord anymore, but I do think I cursed myself. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I do think it's hilarious that your first, like, there I can't quite find the point of irony, but there's something crazy about you having the super conservative upbringing, and then the first time you were exposed to sex was like historical sex, like that actually happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like someone's like warped brain, like you weren't
No,
really, like a bodice ripper. It was like you were actually just
I
doing the
was
thing
just
you were
learning that
supposed to do. Yeah.
I was just learning that Queen Elizabeth wasn't a virgin, and I was like, what do you mean? How dare you besmirch her name?
Yeah.
Listen, Queen Elizabeth, get it on, like,
I know.
historically. Anyway.
Or that, yeah, I mean, imperialism aside, she probably had to go through a lot of stuff. She needed a
She needed a
outlet.
release. Yeah. So, I think we have successfully broken the ice in our appetizer round. So now I get to ask my question, which is just like, how are you doing? How is the world treating you? How are you feeling about life and things? And you don't have to share anything more than you're comfortable with. So,
I love this question. I think that it's really nice because some people are going through so much, and the world often just like expects you to show up, and it's quite impossible for people at certain times. I'm okay. Like the seasonal depression aside, I'm okay. I obviously like it's so the cognitive dissonance of being okay in the world right now, I think, is a thing that most of us are probably that's the main struggle, which in
it's
itself is like
familiar.
such a yeah, it's such a privilege to have to struggle with this. And I think more than ever, like trying to figure out how to be a mindful, active citizen that and sort the noise from action, and like sort the blur from what I want to, like how I want to move through the world and what I want to be and what I want to like leave or whatever. This got so deep, but all that aside, like good on an everyday basis, but really sort of, I think people of every generation have sort of gone through these moments. I think it's exacerbated given some of the stuff in the world right now, but who you show up as is who our generation and our is going to be remembered as, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, I feel like I'm constantly balancing the like, things are terrible in the world. I might be having a good day. How can I use the energy that I have today, the privilege that I have in the way I inhabit the world and like where I live and the community I'm surrounded with, like how can I use that privilege to make things better and like fight back against the fascism in the US and the genocides abroad and like wars, like what can I do? And so often I find myself panicking a bit because I'm like, I don't know that I can do anything other than just like be vehemently and loudly opposed to what is happening in specifically, like I'm thinking of the fact that the US is now just at war with Iran and like shelling not just Iran but Lebanon and cities and civilians, and it's like that is something that I am so against, and I'm like, I don't know, I can't. I would love to walk up and just like tell Trump to stop it. He wouldn't listen to me. They would probably throw me in jail, but like I really think I could be persuasive. But that's not my power, so I have to figure
Yeah,
something else out. um
I do
but
think you could
yeah,
be persuasive. Yeah,
I'm
I
always like,
think
listen, just let me at them.
Just let me at them. I'll have the appetizer, the entree, and then we'll just zing
Let's go.
them.
Me and Zoran will tag team it, and we'll get
Oh
him
yeah,
like
yeah.
out of office. Let's go.
I think you bring up such an interesting thing because it's like the problems of the world are so global right now. They're so large that it does the opposite of what we should remember about ourselves, which is like it makes you feel like one person can't do anything because like feasibly, yes, you cannot stop this war with your own, your own spirit and your own want and even your own resources at this point. Um and I think that that is why like the rise in community support and the rise in like small action mutual aid, like these
Yes.
things will save the foundation of humanity when the top is shelling it literally, quite literally, from the top. And so while we can't stop wars, it's like what are the singular actions that we can contribute to, and just
Yeah.
finding joy in that. It's not these are not tasks. They're ways to be connected to your fellow humans.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a writer because I love connecting with other humans. That's like writing is just the way I do it. If I could sing, which I can't, I would be a singer, and that would be how I connected to people. But I've always felt like I write and I show up the way that I do because I want to forge connections and build community. And that is like ultimately, I think, what is really beautiful about humanity is that we have these connections and we have the ability to like truly see and love each other. And I think there's I'm it's been a tough like 6 years for me because I've been working from home since the pandemic started, and I like don't leave the house, and I lost a lot of my in-person community. And over the past couple months I've been rebuilding that slowly as I like get out more and go like become a regular at a bar like that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's really like refilling my spirit in a way that I think I hadn't even realized that I needed. That just like interpersonal connection with people where I'm not like, I don't text them every day. They don't know everything about me, but I show up to the bar and we like are happy to see each other. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Can I ask where you live?
yeah, I live in Brooklyn.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
literally in
Oh,
New York City. Like, it should be so easy, but it's actually
no,
so
no.
hard to find people.
I lived in New York for 9 years. I think it's actually one of the hardest places because people can often seem really enmeshed in their own
In their own
stuff
little
already.
communities. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like
Yeah.
everyone's like been a New Yorker for their whole life, and you're like, hi.
Can I
Um,
just join the conversation? No, no, not this conversation. Okay, I'll go to
no,
the
no,
next
no.
one.
Okay, okay. I'll go to the other farmers market. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
thankfully
No,
I found a coffee shop bar like a couple months ago, and I just was like, this is gonna be my spot, and so I'm like just making myself be there,
yeah,
be a fixture, and it's been
yeah.
really good for me. So
Can I go on a little bit of a tangent? I saw
hundred
something.
percent.
I want to sound like Threads, which can often be a cursed place, but has like just enough hilarity or insight that you like keeps you coming back for more. It's a very toxic relationship. But somebody was talking about, they called it, what do they call it? Like something like the square footage of your potential for luck and magic. So they were saying like by going outside, by interacting with the world more, you're increasing your square footage for
Oh my
like
god.
magic. And so the more
Yeah.
you interact with places, the more the world is going to show up for you. It's unfortunately just something that can't happen, or it can happen only in a limited way when it's like these kind of interactions. And ever since I read that, I thought like what a wonderful way to put what community building or even like going for a walk can be, right? It's like increasing your square footage for luck,
Yeah, that's
magic.
so true because like I remember I have this strong memory of the summer after my senior year of high school. I was back in the States. I grew up overseas, so I was back in the States. I didn't have a license. I didn't have any job experience. Could not get a summer job. Was bored out of my mind. And I'm sitting there and I just like the thought came to me and it was like opportunity is not just going to show up to you. Like you have to leave the house
Yeah.
to find opportunities. And that's been kind of like my guiding like when I get in my head and I'm like, oh, nothing's happening. No one, like, no publishers are just calling me out of the blue to publish my book. And it's like, well, because they don't know you exist.
Yeah.
You have to write the book and then send it to them. And that's like the only way that you can then get the luck or the opportunity or the magic, like you said, is the like, and I find that even like it helps me not spiritually but like emotionally, because the more I'm outside and in the world, the more I appreciate it, and the more
Yeah.
I am able to see the poetry and the magic and the beauty in the everyday.
Yeah.
I was doing a presentation for some high schoolers yesterday, and they asked me like, how do you come up with story ideas? And I was like, I just
Take
gotta
a
leave the
walk.
house and like watch people. And
Yeah.
then I'll be like, that's a funny outfit. And next thing you know, I've written a whole novel because I saw someone wearing a onesie on the subway.
Yes, I love that. And I love
So,
when you can tell that authors have like pulled something directly. Either like there's a way that you can, I feel like sometimes you can tell that it's like observed and not just made up, and you're like, "Oh, this is something that happened to you. Like this is it's very cool." Yeah.
yeah. There's like that element of like reality.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, amazing. We have appetized our way through the first part of brunch. Appetized, not a word. But if Shakespeare could come up with new words, I think I can too.
Yeah. Take that, you cad. I think he invented that word. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a heart to heart. Nope, we're gonna gossip a little bit. I got my sections confused. So, what is a great story that you have seen, heard, witnessed, or experienced yourself?
I told my friends this story a couple days ago, and it was the first one that came to mind. It's the story of the time I accidentally kissed someone on the subway. Um,
Oh my
that's
god.
what yeah, if this was like a flash fiction, that's what I'd call it, like the accidental kiss. Um, I back when I had a 9 to 5, I used to commute every day, and I would always try to make I live near. I won't get into it, but like basically the train that's near me comes in like 15-minute increments, and the difference between the like 8:30 and the 8:45 train is like breathing versus like being you are tuna in a can, right?
Yes.
So I always try to make the 8:30. And this particular day I remember because I was so annoyed because I missed the train by 1 minute. And it wasn't like annoying enough that I had to wait 14 minutes in the winter on the platform like for the next train. It was that I knew the next train was the tuna can train. And so I get in, and it's like packing and packing and packing and packing. It's fine, and everybody's. I live in Canada, and I have to say, like, I do think that there's a general level of politeness here, especially after living in New York, that I'm like appreciative of. So everyone's just like kind of civilly packing themselves in, and I imagine this is me, and I'm like standing here, and it's like this dude who's like probably an inch shorter than me, maybe less than, is just like slowly packing in, and our faces are like this far apart, and their faces are this far apart, and then our faces are this far apart, and his nose like goes right here. Don't ask me how I know this, because I'll tell you. Anyway, so we're like going along the train, and I have to say, like, it's not a very long ride. It's like 8 minutes, and it's a fairly smooth track, except for this day when it was like stopping, starting, and stopping, and starting. So everybody was just like the whole time, everybody's center of gravity was off. If you like had any breakfast, you're not feeling great right now. Everybody's just
Yeah.
like, get me out of here. And then so the train goes, and then all of a sudden it comes to like a screeching halt. Nobody is ready. And our faces go from this far to this far. And we literally like bounce off of each other. Like, and that's how I know his nose goes right here, because his nose went right here. And we just like looked at each other, and it was like for a minute I was just like, what? Like I would like, did that just happen? And he also was like, what? Does that just happen? And I could tell he was like freaking out, because obviously there's like a different dynamic. And I appreciate that. I think he was very aware of like, oh god, I just like non-consensually both got kissed and kissed someone. And I was like, it's okay. Like honestly, having lived in New York, I feel like I'm like so used to people being in my space, and like we very non-verbally we were like, it's okay, like just making these gestures. And then he like would go like this, and I noticed he had a wedding band on, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's feeling like very extra weird about this. Like I'm not partnered, so there's like no dynamic of like, ooh, my lips just touched somebody else's. Um, But and I think that he was freaking out, and I can't confirm this, but like when we finally got off the train, he like went to a corner and he pulled out his phone, and I was like, "Oh, are you calling your partner maybe and like telling them about this?" And I hope it's like a funny story and not like I'm so sorry this happened, but I I couldn't see his face. I could just see him on the phone, and I was like,
Oh,
"Okay, either you're calling work to be like I have to go home, something traumatic happened to me on the train."
a stranger just kissed me.
A stranger just kissed me, but she didn't mean to. Um, or you're
Oh
like
my
calling your partner to be like, I hope, hopefully, Joe can be like, guess what? I accidentally cheated on you.
I accidentally cheated on you on this.
But it was gravity's fault.
It's gravity. That
Yeah.
is, first of all, an excellent meet cute if both of you were single and interested and in a rom
That's what
com.
everybody is. Like, I don't think we were going to be interested in each other. Like, we hadn't clocked each other in any way. I hadn't clocked
Yeah,
him, but I always am like, one day I'm going to have to write that into a book, I think.
100%, yes.
Except,
But
you
no,
know what people would say? They would say it's completely unrealistic, because it kind of is.
it's so, so funny. But I feel you because I used to live off the J and I would take the train between 8 and 9 to get to school. And I lived very, very close to the end of the line, so like I almost always got a seat. But every once in a while, you're 5 stops in and you get on, and it's jam packed, and it just keeps getting worse as you get closer to Manhattan. Ooh, rough.
Oh,
Not
and it's
fun.
like, oh yeah, God forbid you get in a non-AC car accidentally. Everyone knows what that means, and
Yeah, that's you might as well just pack it in and go home.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's not worth it.
exactly.
The
Yeah,
day is over.
the day is done. Yeah, you've hit rock bottom. Just go home.
Tomorrow will be better, we hope. Um,
Yes.
what are some recent like object or item obsessions you've had lately? I think of in terms of like home goods or like
Yeah.
yeah.
I also want to know this answer from you.
Okay.
Um, I have gotten really, this is not an object per se, but look, like I guess it is. I've gotten really into air dry clay in the last couple of months. So I've been
Okay.
like making a lot of bad art. I don't
Nice.
art.
Yeah, it's
But
art.
it's just really nice. Mm, debatable. But I think because I'm also trying to draft my next novel, and so like having small projects that use creative output, but can be like done sometimes within anywhere between like 1 and 4 days is really soothing because writing, as you know, writing a novel does not feel like that. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got into like acrylic markers and I was like making some designs and stuff. It's just been nice to just be like, I can finish this and it's okay. And it's okay that it's bad because it doesn't have to add up to anything. Um, and I think, I've just been also super into candles. Like
Yes,
taper
always.
candles, like tall ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because firstly, I have this one candelabra that when I carry it around, it makes me feel like the Phantom of the Opera, which I'm like really into. And I got like black candles, like the true goth I am, like on the
Nice.
inside. They're really cool. They burnt. If I had them, I would show you, but they like I burned them down.
Mm.
But I read this book that said like taper candles and candlelight is a good way to stave off winter blues as well because it's a form of light even in the dark. So
Okay.
add that to your list.
I will. Yeah. What am I obsessed with? I have this like tearaway calendar where it's like every day you tear it away and it's a new picture and it's of Italy. And my parents got it for me for Christmas because I was raised in Italy. They lived in Italy until 2019. And so every day I wake up and I like tear it away and I go, oh. And I'm still waiting for my hometown to show up.
Oh, that's so fun.
I think it's gonna
I
happen.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
I
sits
love that.
like next to my morning chair, which is the chair where I sit in the morning before I get tired of it. So
That's so, it's like almost so soothing. It's like this constant that you're gonna have. I love that.
it is. It's really nice. Like, and then I can just be like, oh yeah, it's part of my morning ritual. It's like I wake up, I make my coffee, I sit down, I tear away the calendar, I like read the news, and then my day plummets from there because the news sucks. Don't know why I
Yeah.
start with the
I've
news, but
started putting off reading the news till noon.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
It's like it's
probably
still
smart.
there and it's still usually bad. But that way you can
Yeah.
like, I like to write in the morning, so you can kind of sit
Mm-hmm.
down and write without the weight of the world quite yet on you. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
unavoidable, but and again, there's like a huge privilege in being able to say like, I'm gonna delay this thing, but
Yeah. No, I like that. That's smart. Um, what is your most earnest or sincere romance or romance writing opinion?
I love this question. Because I think at my heart I am like a very ooey gooey person, and so
Same.
um, but you know, like if you are ooey gooey, you've often been like you put your little like candy shell around you and it can be very very thick because the world is like difficult on ooey gooiness. I'm gonna stop saying that phrase. But my most earnest sincere, you know, sort of schmoopy opinion about romance is that romance is like is hope on the page. It is a form of hope. It's, you know, the stories often revolve around people trying to fix themselves or sometimes fix the world around them or their place in the world. And I think the idea just of confronting your, you know, your darkest parts and opening that up to fall in love is so hopeful. But I also think that, and it's a hopeful thing to insist that not only everybody gets the chance to, but that everybody gets it right. You know, like romance says,
Yeah.
whatever you're fixing, you'll fix it and you'll find the happiness in the end. And I think it's deeply hopeful because it's telling us that everyone is worthy of getting fixed. And I use fixed very loosely here. I don't mean like, you know, solve your problems, but what I mean is like, it's just saying that everybody's worthy of the chance to be seen.
You're gonna make me cry. Oh my god. I feel
Gooey
like I
gooey.
needed that.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that. The like that there is hope and there is to me what I think of when you were saying fixed, it's more like it's the opportunity for growth, right? Like
Yeah.
you everyone is worthy of being allowed to grow into the best version of themselves and the best version of the life that they want to live, and that really hits for me because I felt so stagnant lately, and like it's been a really like hard time for me to feel hope in my future. And so it's like, no, you're right. Like I also me too deserve the chance.
You too deserve. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I
That
would
was
just say, like, I feel
lovely.
like even today, you know, you talking about becoming a regular and stuff, like you're planting seeds of your own hope too. Sometimes we just don't see it. You're in,
Yeah.
you know, you might be in your first chapter or
Oh my
introduction
god.
of
You're so
something
right.
just by
I always
showing
think I'm
up.
on chapter
Yeah.
like 95 because I'm like, oh my god, I've lived for so long, and my
I
therapist is
know.
like, calm down. You're so young.
You're so young. Who knows? By the time we get old enough, there might even be like cryogenically freezing. So you could live even longer than you
I
think
could
you
live
are. Your math
forever.
might be way off.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of romance specifically, I would love to know. No, I'm skipping ahead apparently, but I'm gonna roll with it because I
That's
already
okay.
started. What are some romance novels that you would like to share? Like ones that really mean a lot to you?
Oh yeah. Um, when I was drafting my first novel, I had finished the first draft and I had written it in first person and it was the first draft that you kind of know is like not clicking quite yet. And I wound up reading some pretty incredible. I took a break after I finished my first draft before I went back to it, and I wound up reading two really, really incredible books. One was 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, which is like to me has to be up there on the sort of holy grail
Like god tier romance
god tier
novels.
romance, like just sort of it. I cannot think of a book that has pretty much anything you could want in it out of a romance novel. It's got substance, it's hilarious, it's heartfelt. Both characters are incredible. It's got some of like the best, that line where he's like where she's like stop writing about me and he's like you first, like
Oh
I think about that once a week if not more. So anyway, all to say, like it's like brain alteringly good. And then another book that I read that I think lives up to that standard it's by Regina Black, and it's called The Art of Scandal. And I know, yes, everybody, like, August Lane is also incredible. She hadn't written it yet, so I'd only read Art of Scandal when this was out. And those were also both in third person, and it actually made me realize that my book needed to be written in third person. And so my second draft, I went back and changed the entire POV, and it just opened the book up really well. But it was like, it was kind of like those, like, you know, what's that phrase? Like, what you're searching for will find you type of thing. What you're looking for is looking for you.
Yeah.
And so I was like reading to sort of re-energize my brain, and somehow the thing I needed to know about my book found me. And a nice little bit of, what would we call it? Serendipity, limerence, is that both those books were edited by the same editor, who then went on to become my editor.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I haven't always read all the books that people recommend, but I have read both of those, and both of them were like, I don't even know, like, that I could coherently talk about why they were so good. I just am like, they moved me in a very, like, in a very real, concrete way that I don't always have the words for. So
I think you hit on something just by saying that made me think, like, it is, I think, a sign of a really good artistry when you cannot explain why something is good, because it's so cohesive that you're like, I can't pull out one thing to tell you why it's good. It's good in its entire existence.
I wrote an essay for my newsletter that I released last Sunday that was professional jealousy through the lens of heated rivalry, because I'm like, I want what they have. And I had this paragraph where I was like, I've been obsessed with figuring out, like, what it is about the love story, the characters, that makes me so, like, feral over them. And I'm trying to, like, break it down into its individual parts, and I can't, because you're right, it is the whole of it. It's just like, it's, you know, this plus that, and it equals Karis is obsessed. So.
Yeah, there's like an alchemy to it, where each element, it, like, magnifies the strengths of the other elements, so that even when you when you analyze it individually, each element, you're like, oh yeah, I'm still not quite getting at it, because everything is so in conversation and in concert with every other good element. But I also
feel that way about, this is such a strange thing to say, but I feel that way about the faces of the actors, Hudson and Connor, because I'm like, what about your face is so beautiful? Why can't I stop looking?
I can see that. Like, individually, they're great features, and then you put it together, and it's like something.
And it's like, oh my god, okay, like, turn, perfect profile, wonderful, okay, great. I'll never be the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
I would love to know, and this is another one of those questions where you can answer either part, or you can answer both parts, and you can answer to whatever extent you're comfortable. And it's just like, what is a good and or a hard moment that you have experienced along your publishing journey?
Yeah. I'll start with the hard, and then I'll hopefully get to the good. Right now, social media is just a real double-edged sword for me. Your face as soon as I said social media. I really like it, because it is a form of connection. It's a form of expression. It's a form of discovery, and I really love that, especially as my book is, like, getting into the hands of more people. It's been really wonderful to discover fellow debuts, new authors, people getting to read my book. Like, I think that's it's so important, and it's so key in like a debut author chain of events. But at the same time, there's just, like, I feel myself diminish when I'm on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can feel, like, with each moment I don't take myself off of it, I'm like, oh, your day's, like, a little less good now, even when there's great things on it, you know. And so I also, like, I a couple years ago was diagnosed with ADHD, and I feel like I can feel this, like, fuzziness to the way I look at my world view gets fuzzier when I'm on social media. Like, there's a clarity that I, like, move through that's very based in hope, that's very based in the world outside of this little box in my hand. And when I spend too much time on the box in my hand, I feel like it blot at the edges, and I hate that feeling.
Hmm.
But at the same time, now I feel that it's like it's not something I can actually actively be off of either. So it's a little bit,
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel
not my
that
favorite part of it.
completely.
Yeah, I suspect everybody, like, there's no one who's like, can't wait to get on Instagram and see my unending loop, like,
Me and my Canva graphics against the world.
can't
Yay!
wait to check how many people liked my little post every day, like, oh god.
Yeah.
I know, I wish there was just like a "you're doing great, sweetie" button to like,
I approve. I'm supporting you.
yes. I'm supporting you and I see you for who you are, not just what you post.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start replying to people's posts with that.
I see the you beyond the post.
Yeah. And they'll be like, we've never met, stop.
Incredible.
I just want a button that's like, I see you, you're doing great, it's okay. All those three things.
Yep.
I think the good things, lots of good things are happening. It's, one of the most fun things is like, my publicists are starting to set up like events, and I'm getting to see events where like people will either buy my book or have read my book and like come and talk to me, and I I just like keep on trying to remind myself of the person this time last year, this time 2 years ago, this time who was drafting it, who was like waiting for these moments, and it feels so nice to like have them be here, but also to honor all the work that's come into this and like get to be a part of the community. I'm really excited to
Yeah.
like just have my book out there and interact with people about it.
Yeah, that is really exciting. My book is self-published and it comes out the week after yours does, which is so fun. And I was just talking to a bookstore last week and I was like, please, would you carry my book? And they're like, well, it'd be easier if you're willing to do an event with us. And I was like, me willing? No, if you would deign to let me do an event, like, what are you talking about? Me willing?
Yes.
That's why I'm here, begging on my knees. So it was one of the first times that I was like, oh, it's real. Like, I'm gonna have a book out in the world, like, and people might read
It's so
it.
exciting. Not might,
Terrifying.
will. And they'll come to your event and then they'll come and tell you how much it meant to you, and there'll be this little, golden string between you and them because they would have
Yeah.
seen inside of your soul a little
And
bit.
yeah, and I feel like I got my first like social Goodreads Storygraph review that where I wasn't positive who left it, and it was like a really nice review, and I was like, I feel like a connection to you. Like, I'm pretty sure I know who it was and that like I know them, but like I feel like I saw into their heart a bit by how they reacted to the book, and they like saw into my heart, and I'm like, you're forever one of my people now.
I know. The idea that I'm not quite sure it's not just like my mom and best friends just like signing up for a bunch of usernames on NetGalley and Goodreads and being like, I love this book.
Yeah, no, I'm not personally connected at all.
I know. I'm like, what number will I start believing? Like, okay, it can't be them anymore. But can I actually share? Oh, like, if we want to talk about a single moment, somebody left a review on NetGalley that is maybe the best thing that's ever been said to me about my writing,
Okay.
and they left this like really glowing review. I screenshotted it because I was so obsessed.
Nice.
But give me 1 second while I get to it. Ooh,
Yeah, of
my
course.
phone is. Um, they said, also, Lavanya, if you're reading this, please know you're an incredible writer. Some of your sentences made me question if I've ever written a sentence before.
That's lovely. Oh,
Like,
that's like
I couldn't have dreamed that somebody would think that about me.
that's so like you're writing, and I find I write in first person a lot, and I find that I'm always like, what if the prose isn't like good because it's in the character's voice, and I find that like close third is similar. Like if you're not writing like beautiful flowery, which I haven't read your book, so I don't know what type of prose you use. But for me, I'm always like, if someone compliments like the prose or like the structure of a sentence, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
Right. That's the part that I really wanted you to like.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
I'm glad they left that review and like spoke to you through it.
yeah. Yeah, if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah. I hope they're listening.
I hope so.
Um okay, I'm going to jump to the soapbox question,
Oh boy.
which is just if you the way I phrase this for other guests makes me giggle, so I'm going to phrase it this way again. You're in Victorian London because we time traveled, and you're just like walking through the throngs of people in some part of Victorian London, and someone like runs up to you and they've got a box of soap and they're like, stand on this soapbox and speak to the masses.
Okay.
What is your message from your soapbox to the masses?
I have to say, like, when you asked me this, I had this thought, and I was like, I have so many soapboxes, you could make a friggin' catwalk that I would, like, stroll down. But we're gonna stand on one,
Okay.
and we're gonna go. And that is that. Oh, this one's a little spicy.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be a breakup, but like a third act conflict that raises everything to the ground is quite important to storytelling. Um, I'm all for using different storytelling engines and methods and traditions to get to that, but it is very important to see your characters at their lowest because and I think it comes in the third act because successfully you would have won the reader over that even at their lowest the reader still sticks with them and wants to root for them, and that's what makes the ending so satisfactory. Like to
Yeah.
see somebody and care about them so much in the course of 200 pages that now the last 50 you are like in it with them. You only really, I think, get that kind of adhesion if you kind of drag them down a little bit. That's my
It's
soapbox.
Yeah, and it makes sense because like one, conflict can be an engine for change, and so much of especially romance novels is that arc and that growth and that change. But also it makes the high so much sweeter when you've been like at rock bottom. It makes the mountain peak or whatever like so much sweeter. And so I think if you're reading characters and it's just like everything is fine, 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 happy ending, it's like, okay.
Okay. And I
Good for
think, like,
them.
the thing, I've read books that have felt very nice, and then I think I leave them a little worried to be like, what's going to happen when something bad happens to you two? Will you stay together? Will you
Right.
be
Like
okay?
can you
Weather
handle the
this?
hardships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something so satisfying. I think again it goes to that hopefulness we're talking about, right? To say like somebody is in their all is lost moment. They're in their dark night and like they'll still come back from it because this genre insists that you will come back from it. And that's like so lovely.
That I'm crying again. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. I think I'm like, okay, just sit with that for a second. Okay, we've sat. I loved it. Thank you. Um, what
I know I'm
is
crying a little too. Yay.
right? What is so you have your debut coming out in June. Do you have any other adjacent like exciting updates or news or like things that listeners can be looking forward to over the next few months?
Can I give a really goofy one?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to work in a corporate space, and so
Okay.
like instead of read receipts, like you just thumbs up everything that people send you, right? On like Teams and Slack or whatever.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I was recently told, well, didn't never put hearts. This is a great addition because I would never put hearts because I was in a corporate environment.
Okay.
And I guess I've just thumbs up my text messages too, and I didn't know it. So I met someone for the first time, a friend, and she was like, a fellow author, Joss Richard, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know we've been going back and forth about all these plans, and I didn't mean to inconvenience you." And I was like, "Oh, you didn't like. I'm fine. Don't worry. I know you're busy. It's totally fine." And she was like, "Okay." And then we like got to talking, and then she was like, "Well, you thumbs up a bunch of the things." And I was like, "Yeah, because I saw the message. I was okay with it." And she was like, "No, that's passive aggressive or sarcastic." And I was like, "No, it's just me being like, I saw this. I'll show up at 4:30 at the restaurant." And she was like, "No." No. And then we were like with like 15 other romance writers and we polled them and every single person was like, no, you've basically just given the middle finger like multiple times. And I was like, have I been doing
Yep.
this to everyone? So an exciting update is now that if you ever text me or send me a message, I will heart your message. I will not thumbs up it. And this is what we call
Amazing.
personal growth.
It's giving, there's also the like slightly smiling face, which is the Slack term for it, which is just a smile. And that is when I'm like, when I'm mad at someone, I'll be like, okay, slightly smiling face. Which I
Human
shouldn't have
beings
said.
are so fascinating, and we say the miscommunication trope is not realistic. Come on.
And it's the same with like the period, where like you'll text your parent and they're like,
Yes.
okay, period. And I'm like, oh my god, they hate me.
I think
If I
I'm a
texted
monster
my
because I
friend,
text
okay,
in full
period.
sentences.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't ever okay period anything, but I do end everything in a period. So
Same. Same.
yeah,
Because that's just
okay, that
proper
makes me feel a
grammar.
little better.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just sort of getting ready for my books. Other than that huge development, it's just my debut
Right.
novel that's happening.
Just a little casual thing. So how can
Yeah.
readers find you and follow you and then support you and pre-order your book?
They can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, as I have confessed. Sometimes against my will, sometimes too much in my will.
Yeah.
And it's lavanya.lakshmi.writes on Instagram. And I also have a website that's just lavanyalakshmi.com in case you're not on Instagram, and it has a form in case you need to reach me. Um, my books can be pre-ordered on any retailer that you desire. I always will encourage people to order off of an indie bookstore. I don't have a pre-order incentive yet. I'm hoping to figure that out. But if you shop in an indie, you would have made me doubly happy. And hopefully I can get something to you if you buy the book there. Um, yeah, I think those are the best places to reach me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I had a blast.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
This was amazing. I had such a good time. I can't wait to watch every other episode of yours that I haven't yet, and also every episode going forward, because knowing you're a fellow ooey gooey, I have to support you now.
I am so ooey gooey. And on
Yeah,
that note, that sounds like a perfect place to stop recording.
I think so.
And that's all for today's episode of Publishers Brunch. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Lavanya Lakshmi. I, for one, had an incredible time. Thank you so much, Lavanya, for coming on the podcast, for being such a delight, for just sharing your stories and everything, and I really enjoyed it. If you're listening and you enjoyed this, I hope you will consider pre-ordering, or if you have a review copy of Leave and Come Back, you should totally read it and leave a review. I think the book sounds so delightful and so messy, and I'm really excited to dive into my copy of it. If you are listening and you feel so led in your spirit as to leave a rating and or a review or a comment on whatever podcasting platform you are listening, do it. I beg. That's it. Love you. Bye.